Welcome to the Go Phish podcast, where we dig into the real world stories of people defending businesses from the scams, hacks, and social engineering attacks that never seem to stop. I'm Dan Thornton, and today I'm joined by Norman Currie from Simbian. Norman is the head of partnerships, channel, and technical alliances at Simbian, an AI driven cybersecurity company focused on intelligent threat detection and response. Simbian leverages advanced automation and machine learning to help organizations stay ahead of cyber threats with minimal manual input. Norman, did I get that right? How was that?
Probably better than I can summarize it. Let me know if you're looking for a job in the near future. But no, it's
Perfect.
a pleasure to be here, Dan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us. I'm excited for the conversation to hear about the company, how you guys are navigating changes in the cyber threat landscape, and where you guys are seeing the biggest risks, and that's right now. So thanks very much for joining us. For people who don't know Simbian, what's your focus and who are you guys typically, who are the customers that you're supporting?
Sure. Well, just to augment your introduction a bit, Symbian is essentially a unified AI, our unified platform for agentic AI. So our headline product is our AI SOC agent, which is oriented toward the automation of security operations activities. We autonomously triage, investigate, and provide remediation action around security events in customer environments. Suitably sold into any organization with a current SecOps function, as well as into the service provider space. So a heavy focus on the MSSP and MDR, managed detection and response organizations. But we are suitable into any number of markets where people are struggling with the typical problems of alert fatigue or efficacy and investigation that it really drives risk for organizations today.
What's a typical size sort of enterprise organization that you guys are catering for, or are you very much looking after that MSSP sort of managed service market?
Well, we really are taking dual roads.
Okay.
From what I would call the mid-sized enterprise on up, where you have an organization that has a sizable investment in security operations functions, we are built for purpose there. At the same time, we've received a lot of early interest over the past year or so from MDR and MSSPs who are looking to scale operations and have consistently struggled with the idea of maintaining operations and staffing and dealing with some of the core problems that broadly scaling security operations teams have, which are generally built around staffing requirements, the road activities that alert fatigue drives, and really driving consistency in the results to customers that drive customer satisfaction numbers and retention. Those are some of the core use cases that Symbian really tackles with our platform and technology.
Norman, you've been in the trenches of cybersecurity for a little while. What originally led you into the cybersecurity space, and what keeps you in the fight right now? How's things going? And yeah, what's your background?
I've been in the space, I've been in the technology space for the better part of 25 years now, with a heavy focus in cybersecurity for more than 15. I'll say I've vacillated between large global organizations and the startup world. So I've spent over a dozen years at a large GSI. I spent over 5 years with Old McAfee back in the Intel security days. But I've spent time at a number of startups really building and driving what I've always considered to be innovative solutions that help push our industry toward providing protection for organizations globally against what we see as a consistent threat to business. There is a relentless drive by bad actors to affect and impact business. Cybersecurity isn't just a necessary evil as it might have once been thought about. It's really part of the core strategy about how you drive business continuity, protect your interest in IP. And I've always been passionate about that mission and looking for ways to advance the message of innovative technology that really puts the defenders in a position to succeed.
That threat landscape that you talk about, what would you say has been the biggest evolution that you've seen since you started in the threat landscape itself?
I mean, most recently, it has been in the space of AI. I don't know if you were at RSA a couple of weeks ago or at the JISEC conference more recently, but everyone is looking for ways to defend utilizing AI in any number of innovative ways. And obviously, that's a response to the fact that the cost of attack and the complexity of attack has advanced both in speed and the ability to execute because of the tools that are available to the bad actors. Simply stated, manual defense processes or even semi-automated defense processes that we've seen evolve over the past decade have become inadequate to address the speed and volume of attacks that organizations are seeing. The cost of executing complex attacks utilizing AI have come down so significantly in just the last couple of years that organizations are struggling with how to respond. And I've watched this evolution occur from the early days of SIM when we first started correlating information and trying to develop real actionable insights through the use of technologies like SOAR, where the build of automation and workflows became much more prevalent, and now to the space where agentic AI is kind of taking the forefront in helping to mitigate all of the work that had to be done by people in order to deliver results.
AI is everywhere in the headlines right now, and I mean, obviously, you guys are embracing that full on in the creation, delivery, and go to market of your product and development of your product there.
Mm.
Which way, what is the most concerning sort of use that attackers are now operating with AI? Like what are some examples? What are some stories that you guys are hearing about and looking to try and develop countermeasures to? What are you seeing in the wild now, but with the use of AI?
It's the ability to consistently update itself and make changes based on what it learns in trying to execute bad actions within customer environments. And forgive me, the right words are escaping me right now. But when you look at AI, the key to its success, whether in perpetrating bad acts or in defense, is its adaptability. So building building method for either attack or defense is reliant on the AI's ability to react to what it's seeing and to make changes itself. Still in limited ways. We haven't learned to embed human intuition. We haven't advanced to the point where AI can work without the right people in the right places in the model. But the biggest concern that we see is that adaptability that allows it to continuously learn in ways that simply weren't available in the years of static code or in 0 days. All the different attack types you've seen over the years are really being combined into a single usability for AI to continue to probe and look for weakness in ways that you simply couldn't do with traditional models. So on the defense side, obviously the ability to understand that that's happening and to utilize not only large language models and the learning ability of AI within the broader security context, but also to be able to contextualize and to utilize customer tribal knowledge about their environment to provide an advantage for the learning of AI internally to a single customer or a single organization is the best type of defense methodology that we're developing around AI for defense.
Yeah, interesting. I came from a security risk management, sort of a lot of physical security and crisis management background before getting into the cybersecurity space. And we always used to try to explain security risk to people and management that had a long history of understanding safety risk and safety compliance in the safety industry. We used to talk and explain to them that why it's so different when trying to assess security risk or security threat over safety risk is that a fire doesn't try and figure out how to get around the defenses, the fire defenses and fire alarms and fire protocols. That's what criminals do. And your security threats are constantly trying to learn about your defenses and learn about your mitigation in place and figure out smarter ways around that. And moving into the cybersecurity space, that's exactly what your cyber criminals have done forever. It's been a race on who can get ahead, who can figure out a way around it. And what you're saying there is that AI has just accelerated that now to the next level where it becomes an absolute race to see who can stay ahead now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's machine speed. It's attacking at machine speed, defending at machine speed, with an understanding that the advantages go to those who spend the time to build the right learning models behind the technology. So one of the unique things about what we're doing at Symbian, for example, is the utilization of something we call a context lake, providing every customer the ability to internalize their tribal knowledge around the technology. For example, when you hire a new security analyst, human being, you always expect them to have some native knowledge about how to do the job. Generally, you're hiring an analyst with some level of experience or training that you expect them to be able to come in and understand the role and hit the ground running. Despite that, the first thing that you do as an organization is that you begin training them on how you want them to act in your environment. What are your SOPs? What are your customer expectations? What processes and procedures do they need to follow? And the value of that person to your organization increases. They become more efficient as they understand how to react based on what you expect to see, combined with their inherent security knowledge. The ability to provide training for AI in that same contextual model is one of the things that really differentiates some solutions from others. So here at Symbian, as an example, the utilization of that allows us to take an AI agent, to plug it into a customer, an AI SOC agent into a customer's environment, and immediately begin producing ROI based on its inherent knowledge. However, as a customer, allowing it to learn from your SOPs, from your individual processes and expectations for its investigation model, it produces contextualized investigation based on what you expect from a human analyst. So it's a very similar model in that it becomes more effective over time as it learns what you expect from it and provide it real-time feedback. Now, I want to highlight that it doesn't necessarily replace everyone in the environment. This is not about displacing people. It's about shifting the roles to the left, where people can become more valued for their intuition, their ability to review the rote results that are provided by AI and machine learning. So a typical security analyst may spend an 8-hour shift reviewing hundreds of alerts and events coming in from an environment. 90x% of that is noise that they're filtering through very quickly and not doing a lot of work on, trying to find that needle in the haystack that requires investigation. Over time, that's not the most efficient of a use of a human's time. Allowing AI and machine learning to do all that rote activity and allowing the person to be at the end of the chain, reviewing and approving and providing input to the investigative output that you get from the tool is the next evolution in how we see SecOps operating.
Yeah, interesting. And with that, we've spoken a lot about the sort of technology stack, about defending, detecting, responding at a machine level, like you said, with evolution and tech evolution. And is this something you guys are looking at? Is something you guys are interested in diving into? But the human element, the human side of security, whether it be being able to detect insider threats and data protection elements there, or whether being able to stop social engineering threats and different elements of the human side of security. Is that something that you guys are talking about, considering, watching? Where do you see that developing?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we provide a unified platform for Agentic AI. While I'm talking a lot about AI SOC agent, as it's probably the most well known, Simbian is continuing to build a suite of AI agents around the automation of other key security operations. Many of them have the same defined goals, which is to shift the role of the people to that which requires true human interaction, intuition, and review. It's about taking the repeatable actions that are part of core roles today and handing them off, allowing people to focus where brain power is needed the most. So the idea that, yes, we're working with partners and customers around design partnership for ideas that they have around how to tackle individual problems that they're seeing. And we've introduced multiple agents around areas like threat hunting or CTEM that help address some of those problems that our customers are seeing. Does that scale into other more human-centric areas of security? Certainly, I see that evolution continuing to occur. And we're also making sure that the model that's built allows the results from one agent to feed into the others and develop a holistic ROI around security. It's really about automating everything that you possibly can, both from an efficiency and an efficacy perspective, that allows people to do what people do best.
Norman, as you guys are developing sort of new products, looking at new technology and new ways to approach this space, when you're deciding on that, whether it's new features, whether it's entire new products, what is driving that? Are you taking that from customer demand? Are you getting that, is it your own engineers and executives? Is it their gut feel? Is it what you're picking up in the market? What's driving innovation within product development now at Simbian?
Yes, would be the appropriate answer.
All of the
And it has to be all of the above. We've got a group of very smart founders and engineers, deep engineering background, who came up with conceptually the premise upon which we've built the organization. However, we're in a very dynamic environment where you, as well as I do, things change on a sometimes daily basis in regard to what we're seeing in the market. So one of the most important things for us is to lean heavily in with customers and partners around the idea of design partnership. What are you seeing? What are customers demanding? And how do we build to meet those demands and needs? I mean, we're a 100% channel driven organization. So we rely on partnership, whether it's value-added resellers and distributors, getting us feedback from their customers, whether it's service providers like MSSPs and MDRs, or even global systems integrators, or it's our technical alliances spaces where we're looking at the technologies that we work closely with, and that we've developed over 70 out-of-the-box integrations to date and continue to work with organizations across the entire security landscape to figure out how to build more robust use cases and tie in closer and deeper together to drive the type of results our customers need to see. But it's a combination of all of the above. You can't be successful if you're not listening to your customers and partners. You can't be successful if your engineers and your founders don't have the right vision. And you can't be successful if you're not very attuned to what the marketplace is doing, because it's not a build it and they will come sort of an environment. We have to define the business problems that organizations are struggling with that we can address with this technology. Nobody wants to be the best technology nobody ever uses. The idea is you've got to make sure that what you're doing is both responsive to what you're hearing and can be directly correlated to not just security risk, but helping organizations to understand that security risk equates to business risk.
How working with your partners and working with your channel, the products and solutions from Symbian are obviously quite tech heavy onboarding wise. How are you working with your partners to bring them up to speed, to get them subject matter experts on your products? How are you getting them extremely familiar with that so that they can resell that and they can be champions of your product? What does that process look like?
Well, I wish I could tell you that there is some rocket science behind it, but there are tried and true models that we're trying to make sure we effectively execute on. So that is the development and release of specific training videos that give both overviews of the platform and its key features that give partners access. It's providing access to demo environments that give our partners the ability to actually play with the technology, to validate it and provide us regular feedback. It's the production of high quality collateral, from solutions brief to battle cards to case studies that can be utilized in downstream discussions with their customers. And it's working directly with not only partners, but their end customers, to provide them the support they need early and often. We're in a a relatively new space. Agentic AI for security is, hasn't been around as long as antivirus or as SIM or as firewalls. So understanding, learning, and embracing the technology is going to take time. And it requires a great deal of lean in and understanding from us as the vendor to those partners.
Yeah. And what's to date, what would you say is the toughest part of running and scaling a cybersecurity tech company these days? Is it the tech? Is it the people? Is it the market, or something else? What do you say?
I think you've always got to pivot back to the market, especially when you're talking about technology, which is relatively nascent and has been advancing so quickly. Helping customers to understand, helping the market to understand how to trust what you're seeing. Choosing a path of transparency around logic of your technology, I think, is incredibly important, especially with the technology like AI, where there's been so much science fiction around it for so many years, that developing trust is key to helping folks understand how to embrace it. So to that end, one of the decisions that was made early and that we've stuck by is that we won't black box our technology, so that when you receive output from our tools, you have full traceability back into the decision-making process and are able to see why it did what it did, even question it and provide input when you believe that something isn't as you expected to see it. So the ability to co-pilot and to dig deeper when necessary enables a build of trust, which allows you to go from reviewing and approving actions to automating those actions and taking more and more of that road activity off of people's plates.
Yeah. And that all comes down with much better visibility, which as you say is definitely the way forward.
I'm sure there are different organizations who can stand on the other side of the podium and talk about the value of having the technology black boxed in a way that they have much tighter control. It's harder to be very transparent and to constantly get questions about why you did X versus Y. But I think ultimately it's the more successful path to take, simply because you have to engender trust. As I said, the toughest part about this is always hitting that point in the market where it really drives excitement and interest.
Norman, before we wrap it up, can you let listeners know how they can learn more about Symbian and connect with you online?
Absolutely. The easiest place to visit us is on our website at www.simbian, simbian.ai. We have full overview of the company, our various products, our go-to-market models. We have externally facing pages for our partners available. You can inquire about our partner program through what I promise is a 1 minute to 90-second form that'll drive interest back from us. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn or personally at norman.currie@simbian.ai, and I'd be more than happy to get on a call and discuss it in more detail. As I mentioned, despite the fact that we are a relatively young organization, having been founded in 2023, we do have offices globally today with resources in Japan, India, Australia, as well as Canada and the United States, so that we do have global reach and the ability to provide 24/7 support in talking to you about your needs. So we welcome the reach out.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much, Norman. Well, that's it for today's episode of Go Phish. Massive thanks to Norman for sharing those insights. Always great to get the raw, unfiltered view from somebody in the thick of it. Thanks again for listening. And if you found this valuable, drop us a follow and feel free to connect on LinkedIn. Catch everyone next time. Thank you.